Hey everybody, it is Sunday. I'm at work, so therefore I don't have any sewing to show you today. But I have been sewing. They just have not been coming out very well. I am going to show you those things because I just consider them more of my sewing experiences, which can only help in the long run. That's how I'm going to approach it. But I wanted to tell you about a little experience that I had. So I was on eBay. I kind of got there accidentally, and I kind of wound up looking at some fabric, and then accidentally I wound up in the book section, and I saw some sewing books that I liked, and I thought, oh, I'd really like to have these, and they were $50, and I didn't want to pay $50, so I get on the computer, tap, 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 click, 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 because I was going to contact the seller to see if I could, like, say, pay, I don't know, 45 bucks for them. The $50 price was fine. I just wanted to see if I could get it a little cheaper. So I'm clicking and tapping and, you know, just obviously not paying attention. And then the next thing I know, I have this message and it says, if you win this auction, you are going to be obligated to pay the $50. And I was like, huh? I was just trying to contact the seller to see if I could get these cheaper. And there was no way to redo it, undo it. So I am stuck paying $50 if I win this auction. And there were no other bidders at the time, and the auction was ending in a couple of days. So instead of leaving eBay, I continued to look around, and I found some other books, and I felt like I had to redeem myself. So I found this book, and the seller was asking $8 for it. And I just put in a note, hey, I'll give you $6.50 for this. And then I didn't hear anything. So fast forward a couple of days later, I get an email, congratulations, you won the bid, and I got to pay this $50. The seller's expecting it, and I don't know what happens if you don't pay for something you won on eBay. Like, do the eBay police get you? I don't know what happens. So I pay the 50 bucks, and then the next email is, hey, the seller is waiting for the $6.50 that you said you were going to pay. And I was like, I didn't even know you agreed to that. So I paid the $6.50, and this is what I got. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. Simplicity. Sewing book. 1955. Look at that price. 35 cents. I just saw this cover and I loved it. I looked at this woman probably teaching her daughter how to sew, and I just fell in love. Simple Time. And it has, I mean, there's a lot of good basic information. There's how to make a blouse. And look at that blouse right there. That is so cute. Some of you people who fool around with vintage patterns, I think that would be so cute. That was Simplicity 4434, and I think that tab detail is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Excuse my hands, but lots of good information. They go how to make a blouse. They go through seam finishing, pressing, hand stitching, just a lot of good information. So I felt good about that purchase. And then I got another book. I think I paid 20 bucks for this. This is a 1955 Singer sewing book. It is definitely a little bit worn, but I love that. The pages are a little bit yellowing, but it's in good condition. There were no pages missing, but I have to read something to you guys. And in the beginning of the book, it talks about preparing and how to sew successfully. So there is a section, and it talks about physically. When you sew, you guys have to hear this. When you sew, make yourself as attractive as possible. Go through a beauty ritual of orderliness. Have on a clean dress. Be sure your hands are clean, fingernails smooth. A nail file and pumice will help. Have your hair in order. Powder, lipstick, put on with care. Looking attractive is a very important part of sewing, because if you are making something for yourself, you will try it on in intervals in front of your mirror, and you can hope for better results when you look your best. Again, sewing must be approached with the idea that you are going to enjoy it. And if you are constantly fearful that a visitor will drop in or your husband will come home and you will not look neatly put together, you will not enjoy your sewing as you should. Therefore, spruce up at the beginning so that you are free to enjoy every part of any sewing that you do. I don't know anybody that spruces up for sewing these days. Maybe you guys do. That's just not how I roll. And then here's another piece of advice. Plan for sewing time. Make an appointment with yourself to sew, just as you would with your hairdresser or a neighbor to go shopping. If your intimates, I love that, your intimates, like your friends. I might start calling you guys intimates. If your intimates enjoy sewing, invite them to come and sew with you from 2 to 5 on a Wednesday, or perhaps for an evening each week. Do not spend your time planning refreshments, but insist that each bring sewing to do. On the days when you're sewing, make the dessert in the morning, plan a quick to get dinner so that your afternoon can be given to the full enjoyment of sewing. Do you love the 50s or what? Yes, I'm going to invite some intimates over for sewing, get the dessert ready in the morning, and we'll sew away all afternoon. But I've just been enjoying this book so much. And here is something I've never seen in any other book, a tip right here. Left-handed individuals. If you work with your left hand rather than your right and find hand sewing instructions confusing, hold the illustration to a mirror, and in the mirror you will see exactly how you should hold your needle or make your stitches. A little practice will save time and enable you to read a detailed picture easily. Work from what the mirror shows rather than from the text. I am left-handed. Now, I feel this is a right-handed world, so I've learned to do most things with my right hand, but I do feel sometimes when I'm looking at sewing patterns and stitching, especially, it took me a long time to the picture for understitching, I feel like it is backwards, and I don't know if that's some kind of sewing dyslexia. I don't know if that's being left-handed. But I have never seen that tip anywhere. And I would suggest if you're left-handed and it's kind of hard for you to understand those hand sewing diagrams, try that. Hold it up to a mirror and see what happens. So I felt those books were just a lovely addition to my library. I felt vindicated that I paid a little bit less than what they were asking for. But to get to the big $50 purchase, I'm going to open the box right now. I'm going to let you see that, so just hold on. We're going to open this together. Okay, I've got my keys to open this box to show you guys what I paid the full $50 for. I like to do these things with you, my intimates. All right, I'm going to turn the camera so you can see. And, you know, I think it was worth the $50 purchase. What I have, 13 Singer sewing camera. We have creative sewing ideas. I have sewing with an overlocker. I don't even have an overlocker. Sewing activewear. What's this? The Perfect Fit. Can't wait to get into that. Quilting, again, I'll just have this as a reference. I don't see quilting in my future, but I'll keep that as a reference. More quilting. Oh, look at this. I didn't know this was included. I didn't remember seeing that. Sewing for children. My gosh, there is a lot in here. Sewing pants that fit. Sewing Secrets 101. Sewing for the Home. Clothing Care and Repair. Sewing with Knits. Sewing Specialty Fabrics. Sewing Update. Sewing Lingerie. Sewing Projects for the Home. So you guys, I think this was, I think this was a fantastic purchase. There was really nothing wrong with paying $50. My dad always said, just never pay full price. It never hurts to ask. But this is, I think, well worth the $50. Hang on, let me count the number of books. I'm going to be right back. Okay, that was 18 books for $50. I think that was a pretty good deal. I think I better stay off eBay because obviously I seem to get myself into situations that I hadn't intended. But $50, that was fine. And that seems to be a complete basic library of sewing books. I don't feel like I need to buy any other things. And then I have the beautiful antique vintage sewing books. So I just wanted to share what's been going on with me and what I've been up to lately that is related to sewing, but not actually is showing you my sewing makes of recent. But I'll be back. I'll show you those. You might have a good laugh. Anyways, my intimates, I will be back soon. Take care and happy sewing.